traditional feasts are held for weddings, funerals, all special occasions. The community rejoices, and with reason. For 3 years, the men who live here have been living a normal family life. Their women earn extra money sewing. They sell vegetables and groceries. Together, as husband and wife, they discipline their children. They say, we are teaching them that if we suffer together, not alone. Here at Crossroads, they live with uncertainty, but together. In the country, they live in poverty, isolated, separate. 11% of people at Crossroads are self-employed. Only 6% unemployed. There is crime at Crossroads. There has been 1 case of murder. Compared to the neighbouring townships, this is low. With people willing to work and build a community, with the men needed in the city, with the women providing a stable home, need the government still see Crossroads as a threat? Mr. Tom is a member of the committee.
The committee looks after the welfare of the community in general. We have a home guard who patrol the area looking for thieves and robbers. It settles disputes when they occur, and at all times residents are reminded about the special nature of our living here at Crossroads. That at all times we must conduct ourselves properly, because after all, we know the law of community, umthetho wesintu, because all we lack is accommodation. There is no reason for us to behave widely in this our hiding place. The committee not only serves as a broad eye, but its function includes the building of schools.
The committee paid some residents to build a second school.
The reason for the building of this school is because the old one is small and was leaking, and the committee asked for a site to build this new school. I'm a resident here. I asked the committee if I could do the job, and they granted it to me, since I had no work. There were 6 of us at the beginning, but the community had problems of financing us all. We are paid 15 rands weekly. I wasn't trained to be a builder, but I gained the experience from working in a construction firm.
Sizamile opened in May this year. Many Cape Town citizens came to the opening. There was a representative of the Divisional Council, clergymen from different denominations, and French television turned up. There is growing support for Crossroads. Growing concern about the threat to demolish it. Sizamile means we have tried. The school was opened by Bishop Matolengwe of the Anglican Church. The government says Crossroads must go. If it does, the government will only house 700 of the 20,000 people. The other men there must return to single quarters, and the women and children to the homelands. The Minister of Plural Development, Dr. Connie Mulder, said that if the government condoned the existence of squatter camps, places like Crossroads would become the nucleus of a massive sprawl which would envelop the whole city. It happened, he says, in India. Crossroads would be cleared, in favourable weather, in the most humane way possible. How humane can this be? For Mrs. Lutango, this will not be her first eviction.
They came when I was busy doing my washing. The bus was full of my washing. Some of my children were still sleeping. And when they came, they said to me, pack up your goods. And I asked for what reason. They said, pack up, you are leaving for home. I asked, what about my washing that is already wet? They answered, you will pack it as it is. I said, I cannot pack because I'm waiting for my appointment with the hospital. I did not answer back at that time. And just after that, my child had a fit. I persuaded myself to be strong and grabbed one of my children on the one side of me and the other on the other. They picked up 2 other women and drove to Langa. When we arrived at Langa, I related what had happened, and he asked me as to whether I had told them about the hospital. I said I had.
There are no courts in Crossroads. She was taken to Langa. These men are looking for their wives. Mrs. Lutango came to Cape Town because of a sick child. She has lived there for 14 years. Her husband has worked in Cape Town for 30 years. The decision at Langa was to send her back to the Transkei. After a day without food, they gave her tickets for the train.
Then they took us to Bellevue Station, and even there, I had to persuade myself to be calm. As the train reached Kraaifontein, my child started getting ill again. I was tempted to get off because the child was having a fit, but I realized that the child was not going to be able to walk.
In desperation, she got off the train at the next station and returned to Crossroads and rebuilt her home. To emphasize that South African demolition is humane, Dr. Mulder told Parliament that in India, shacks were bulldozed with people still in them. Francis Wilson.
Crossroads is a typical squatter community such as one finds everywhere in the world, New Delhi, Rio de Janeiro, anywhere else. At another and at a profound sense, it is quite different because it is the consequence of policies that are saying not that men may not urbanize, that the men are required here as labor, but that is saying that they may not come here as human beings, they may not have, even their wives and their children may live with them. It is said that this is illegal, it is out of the question. If Crossroads should be destroyed, then we are hearing loud and clear, yet again, that the South African political economic system is being built on migratory labor, the man as a labor unit in one place with his family, his children, his wife somewhere else, and he may only see them 2 or 3 weeks a year over a 20-year period. And one cannot build any kind of society on that basis.
My belief is this, that when you are married to your husband, whether he be working in Cape Town or wherever, according to standards of refinement or culture, you should stay together where he is working. Stay together, because you are depending on this husband for food, for clothing, for shelter, and in the case of illness. Because it is difficult for a male person to be away from his wife. It does happen that men will have a girlfriend. They'll have children during the time that you as a wife are in the country.
But no law protects the women of Crossroads. Even the law by which Crossroads was declared an emergency camp has been amended. Crossroads' continued existence now depends on a political decision. Residents will not be able to go to court to stop the demolition of their homes. The law now reads,
it shall not be competent for any person to ask for any order, judgment or other relief in any civil proceedings of whatever nature in any court that are founded on the demolition or intended demolition or the prevention of the demolition under this section of any building or structure unless such person first satisfies the court on a balance of probabilities that he has a title or right to the land on which the building or structure was or is situated, by virtue of which he may lawfully occupy the land.
The government now has a clear choice. Either it will allow family life to continue in Crossroads, or it will demolish Crossroads, dividing 2,900 families in half, and destroying a community which has built itself from nothing.
If they demolish our pond here at Crossroads, I will remain here because I have no other place to go. I will stay here even if I have to stay under a bush. I have no chance of going back to the country because at home I will be facing hardship and starvation.